What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today's video I'm going to show you my latest kayak modification build. It's an under the seat junk drawer system. I'm going to show you exactly how I built it, and I'm going to teach you how to build one to fit your kayak. It's super easy and super cheap. Check it out. Alright, so if you're watching this video, you're a kayak fisherman or you're just getting into kayak fishing, you're going to find out that as you go through lures when you're out on the water fishing all day long, and if you're trying to figure out what the fish are biting and you're like me, you're just throwing different lures until you find that out. Every time you cut off a lure and you change it on your rod, you're not going to turn around and put it back where it goes. I feel like I'm a super organized guy, and I don't ever do that. Every time I go fishing, I end up with a pile of lures next to my seat somewhere, and they always get tangled up or they get caught in my shorts and they just get in the way. Now, I've got storage on this kayak. I've got storage right here, and it's a good bit of storage. It's this little cup right here. Let me pull it out, but it's not that much. And this is my easy access storage system, and I like to keep the lures that I plan to use that day. You know, before I go fishing, I think, okay, I'm probably going to try all these out, and I'll fill this up, and plus I like to keep my pistol in here, I like to keep my phone in here, so this gets full pretty quick. So I can't just clip my baits off and throw them in here because it's going to get tangled up with all the stuff that I've got in there that I'm going to be getting in and out of all day. So I watch a lot of a guy named Blanchard on YouTube. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. He's an awesome kayak fisherman on YouTube. I'll link his account in the video description of this video. You can check him out. But a few years back, he fishes out of a Titan. A few years back, he had a guy build him a box system that goes up under his seat, and I've always wanted one. And he uses it as a junk drawer, and you know, he keeps some tackle in it. And he does the same thing as he's changing lures. Instead of turning around and putting them back where they go, he just opens that junk drawer and drops them down inside in the drawer. So I've always wanted one. I've looked around. I can't find one. You can't find one to fit your kayak. It just never works out that way. I wish they made one. I'm sure eventually they're going to come out with one, or you're going to be able to buy one. So I decided I was going to make one custom to fit my boat. I didn't want to make it out of wood. I didn't want to make it out of metal. And I couldn't really figure out for a long time exactly how I wanted to make it until recently. We have a lot of PVC board in the shop, and I took a bunch of the scraps, and I'll show you in just a minute. We'll go to the workbench and I'm going to show you this whole system. And I figured out how to make the box fit exactly up under, or build the box to fit exactly up under my seat, and I can use it, you know, any way I want. I can use it as a junk drawer. I can use it as tackle storage. I've got a couple of extra big slots back here that I built to hold some extra baits, or even I got some pliers in here, extra line, but I'm going to use this front part right here to just throw my lures in. As I clip them off, you know, I can just throw them in there, and if I want to go back to it, I can just pull the drawer open and get to them really easy. What's really cool about this build is like I said, it's all PVC board. I think this is schedule 80 PVC board, and it's a 1/4 inch. You can do it with schedule 40 to be cheaper. This is just some scrap, like I said, we had laying around, and I've been toying with building this. I built this completely with just PVC and PVC glue, and I'll show you in a minute exactly what that looks like. You can get it at Home Depot, Lowe's, places like that. It's kind of pricey, but that's for a full sheet. So if you're going to buy a big 8-foot by 4-foot sheet, you know, it's going to cost you a little bit. It's going to cost probably around $100. And I know at the beginning of the video I said it's cheap. You can buy half of the board, and you don't need that much. You don't need a full sheet to do this with anyway. But if you did buy a full sheet, you could build all kinds of stuff. Once I show you exactly how I built this, I mean, you know, just let your imagination go wild. You can start building all kind of different things to go on your kayak. And it's not going to rot. It's not going to rust. You don't have to worry about anything like that. Now, the handle I built, this is just a boat handle that I've got off Amazon. I bought it a long time ago when I did that tracker restoration. And I had a few extras, and it worked out perfect. I just stuck it in there. And those 4 screws are the only screws on this whole build. Those are just some stainless steel boat screws that I had they just fit right in there. I was going to rivet it, but I ran out of rivets. I couldn't find them anywhere. But yeah, enough talking about it. I'm going to take this off the kayak, put it on the workbench and show you guys exactly how I did it, how I went about measuring it to figure out exactly how I wanted it. But it's super easy. Any of you guys watching this can build this with no problem at all, I promise you. Let's go over to the workbench and I'll show you what it is. All right, in a minute I'll give you a detailed look at my box, but first I'm going to teach you exactly how to build it. So this is the Schedule 80, this is Schedule 80, I'm sorry. This is Schedule 80 PVC board, and it comes in big sheets, or you can get the half a sheet like I said before. This is a 1/4 inch thick, and it glues together just like PVC pipe would. You just use the regular, you can use the purple primer if you want to. You really don't have to as long as it's good and clean. This is the hot medium blue lava PVC cement. You can get it at Lowe's. You can get this stuff at Lowe's, Home Depot. You might want to call before you drive up there to get it, because sometimes they don't carry it in stock. It might have to be a special order, but you can get it at the hardware store. There's a couple of different ways that you can build the box. After you take your measurements of where you're going to put your box to fit your kayak, you can use the PVC cement. Or if you want to get fancy, they actually sell a gun. This is nothing but like a heat gun. I've got a regular heat gun right here. I'll show you. That's just a regular heat gun. This is a heat gun, but it's got this little tip on it. And the heat blows out of this little tip, and it takes these little PVC, I think that's maybe an 1/8 inch thick rod. And let's see if I got a shorter one right here. And you can slide the rod right into the tube, and it comes out right here. And it's just like welding, but it's with PVC, and it's really easy to do. I did this box with glue. Now, the dividers that I put in the drawer, I did use this gun because I wanted to try it out, but you don't have to. You do not have to build with this little PVC welder if you don't want to. If you just want to do the PVC glue, it'll hold up, I promise. If you do it right and your cuts are smooth and clean. Now, I do suggest don't use a skill saw to cut your box. If you can, you can, as long as you can cut a really good straight line. If you put your border up and the lines are straight, because whenever you build this box, you want it to be seamless. No gaps, no air to pass through at all. Because when you use that glue, you got to have really tight contact. And if your cuts are a little wobbly, you're not going to have that tight contact. If you've got a little bit of glue here, then a gap, then a glue here, it will over time. You could break it off or snap it. If you put it under pressure. So I recommend use a table saw. That's what I use to cut all of my pieces, and it really squares everything up if you use a table saw and a good guide when you're doing it. So to build your box, you just want to measure under your seat. Like, let's say you're going to put it under your seat like I built mine. Measure the distance you're going to have, but make sure you leave enough gap. Like, let me show you. Here's my drawer. But you see this gap here? This is an 1.5 inch gap, and then my drawer is 4 inches. And for you Hobie PA guys, if you want to build one just like mine, at the end of this video, I'll give you the exact dimensions of my box, and it'll look just like this, and it'll fit right up under your vantage seat. So, but the reason you want this, and I'll give you a close-up look in just a second, it gives you room to mount it to your kayak up under there, and you can also, it sturdies up the box really good. This box is solid, and it gives your drawer something to slide on. So there's no hinges, there's no track system or nothing. This is just a box sliding on top of PVC. And I use that space up under here. I did drill 2 small holes, 1/4 inch, under my seat. And that's what I use. This is a stainless steel 1/4 inch, and I think that's 1.5 inches long. I use this. I go through here on one spot, and then there's another spot right here. And up under on the inside of my kayak, I just use a big flat washer with a lock washer and a nut. And then I tighten it down. And it doesn't go anywhere. It stays in there solid. My plan is when I travel, I'm gonna just pull the drawer out and put it in with my tackle and my gear in the back of my truck. And when I get to the water, I'll just slide my drawer into the box so I don't have to worry about it. Now in the future, I probably will put some sort of a bungee in the back so that it'll shut itself, or it'll assist, a little bit to shut itself. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna keep it just the way it is because I think it's gonna work out just exactly how I want it. So I know a lot of you guys are gonna ask me about the padding that's on the inside. This is just scrap pieces that I had from 2 years ago when I shot that video where I installed the deck pad on the Ascend. I think it was a 128T I did, or a 10T. But this is some scrap left over I had. And in these back pieces here, it's black rubber. You can get this at Home Depot or Lowe's too. I think that's just like an 1/8 inch thick black rubber. And I only put that down in there so it's a little bit quieter when you're getting things in and out. You know, when you throw something on top of that, it's not gonna be really loud in the boat. But you don't have to use that. That's just, you know, additional stuff that you throw in there, you know. So for all my Hobie guys, my box, let me get my plans right here. This box is 20 inches wide. It's 5.5 inches tall. Now the drawer is only 4 inches tall. Now that's the front of the drawer. The inside, you know, you cut them a little bit short so they're not dragging back and forth on the lid. They don't have to be any specific height, you know, just a little bit. You want it shorter than the 4 inch. But on the front, since we've got 5.5 inches, I did my drawer face 4 inches. The bottom is 1.5 inches. And how deep is it? I did 15 inches deep. So 15 inches from the front to the back, 20 inches long, 5.5 inches tall. And that's all it took to do it. Now I'll give you guys a close-up look real quick of the drawer system and how I glued everything together on the inside to make the tracks. But as you can see, this is super easy. There's nothing really special about this, and it really, really helps keep you organized when you're out on the water fishing in your kayak. So I'm gonna give you an up-close picture real quick, then I'm gonna bolt it back in the kayak and show you some up-close shots of it on the kayak. So here is the drawer system. I hope the lighting in here is good enough for you. I used a plastic spray paint, some sort of Krylon. I don't even know if I have the can in here, but it's just the stuff you get at like Walmart or Lowe's that you can paint plastic with. I do suggest that you sand it down. I used a matte black. I didn't want it to be real glossy because I plan on putting a bunch of stickers all over it. Shout out to Ice Hole Power and Catchco. But I've got a mystery tackle box subscription. You can see I got boxes all over the place. But they get a sticker every month anyway, and I always just have a pile of them here, so I plan on covering it with stickers. So the painting is not perfect, as you can see. It's got some runs and stuff. But this is the little opener. I'll put a link in the video description to I think I got this off Amazon for that tracker boat build, but that's all it is. It's just a little handle. Oop, pulled the whole drawer. And all I did was cut a hole right in the center and pop that thing in there so I'd have a way to open and shut it. It's nothing real special. That's what the top of it looks like. Let's pull the drawer out. Let me set the drawer to the side. I'll show you the drawer. So there's the stuff I just showed you that I put down in the bottom. The lighting's not great. Let me see if I can get some better light over here for you. There's a little bit better. So there's the inside. And you can put dividers however you want it. That's the cool thing about this. You build this exactly how you want it. But you see how solid this is? This is, I mean, it's not going anywhere. I put one divider down the center, but I left me a gap up front so that I'd have somewhere to just toss my lures in as I'm fishing. And here, let me get some light on the inside for you, if I can. There's the inside of the box. You can't really see a whole lot, but all I did was take this 1.5 inch thickness on the front, and I cut me some little runners. You see these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're not really, I didn't even really measure or anything. I just kind of spread them out and put them in there. And that's what the drawer slides on. There's no track system, anything like that. It just sits on top of that and slides shut. So that's 1.5 inches for some of you guys. And I'd like to point out the main reason that I did the 1.5 inches tall is because on my kayak, that drawer that's in the middle in between my knees, it sticks up just a little bit off the floor. And if I would have just done the drawer flat at the bottom, I would have had a problem pulling the drawer in and out. It would have hit. So this clears everything and comes right out. There's the holes. I don't know if you can see them, but there's one hole there, one hole there. Just a 1/4 inch hole. Drilled it straight through the kayak and bolted it on. It's a good sacrifice. I think putting 2 small holes up under my seat on the kayak, and I can always silicone them if I need to, but I'm not really worried about it. Here's the face of the drawer there. You can see it sticks out just a little bit. You want to make sure that your box, the actual drawer part that holds the stuff, is smaller than the face, because you don't want this rubbing against the top on the inside. The only thing you want dragging is the bottom. And you don't even, my drawer doesn't even touch the sides of this opening. It just sits on the bottom. There's a little bit of play side to side when you open it. I'm not really concerned about it. It's just, I didn't want it really super tight in here to have to drag it in and out, you know, constantly. It slides out really good now. So you just want to make sure that the thickness is shorter. There you go, there's a better shot. It's shorter on both sides. There's a lip here and a lip up top. So it opens and shuts real easy. And there's the top of it. And I'll put it back on the kite real quick and show you how easy it is to stick on there. And installing it is super easy. There's really nothing to it. You just line your holes up that you drilled. I don't know if you can even see them on my boat. They're tiny. It's just 2 1/4-inch holes right there and right there. And you'll just set it on there. Stick the bolts down through the holes. I use a 7/16 ratchet on the top, and I hold it on the bottom, hold the nut on the bottom with a wrench and tighten it down. And that is my junk drawer build. I hope this helps some of you guys out. If you have any questions on this at all, feel free to hit me up in the comments under this video. I try to reply to all of you guys as soon as I can. I've got some big plans for 2020, some big adventures, some more modifications. I'm working on a video right now of rod storage in the garage. All kinds of stuff coming up. So if you're interested in this channel, if you like it, if you're new, hit subscribe, check out my other videos, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.